Hello and welcome to RPG PhD. I'm Dr. Ben. Are you ready to move beyond published adventures and craft your own epic tales and unforgettable journeys for your tabletop crew? Then dive in with me as we unravel the secrets of designing your own RPG campaigns. From sculpting sinister villains to forging legendary locales, we're unlocking the storyteller's toolbox. Whether you're a novice DM or a seasoned world builder, by the end of this guide, you'll be armed with everything you need to captivate your players. Ready those creative impulses and let's jump in. For many GMs, the ultimate challenge and reward comes from designing your own adventures and campaigns. If you're considering taking the leap into creating your own stories, here's a comprehensive guide to help you navigate this creative endeavor. Begin with an overarching theme or idea. Do you want a dark Lovecraftian mystery or a lighthearted heist in a steampunk city? Once you have a theme in mind, think of the main plot or the big problem. This is the central challenge or conflict that drives the story forward and provides the main characters with something to overcome or resolve. Here are some classic and diverse examples across various genres and settings. Epic fantasy. An ancient dark lord is rising again, threatening to plunge the world into an age of darkness and chaos. The heroes must find the only artifact that can defeat them. You can think Lord of the Rings if you want an example. A mystery. A series of unexplained murders have occurred in a quiet town and the detective must identify the murderer before they strike again. Science fiction. A rogue AI has taken over a spaceship and the crew inside must find a way to regain control before it carries out its deadly mission. Romantic drama. Two individuals from opposing families or backgrounds fall in love, but societal pressures and external conflicts threaten to keep them apart. Think Romeo and Juliet. Adventure. An archaeologist learns of a powerful artifact hidden in a treacherous temple. They must retrieve it before it falls into the hands of a nefarious organization. Think Indiana Jones. Dystopian fiction. In a future society where emotions are outlawed, a group of rebels starts to feel and seeks to overthrow the controlling regime. Horror. A vengeful spirit haunts a family in their new home. They must uncover the spirit's past and lay it to rest before they become its next victims. Historical fiction. During a significant war, a spy learns of enemy plans that could turn the tide of conflict. They must deliver this information to their leaders without getting caught. Post-apocalyptic. After a global catastrophe, a group of survivors hears of a haven free from danger. They embark on a perilous journey, facing threats both human and environmental. Each of these big problems establishes stakes for the story and gives the characters a clear objective or obstacle to overcome, driving the plot forward. Your campaign can be seen as a movie or novel divided into scenes or chapters. Each scene should push the story forward or provide valuable context. So, we start with introduction scenes, establish the setting, the big problem, and introduce key NPCs. Then we have transition scenes. This moves the story from one significant event to another. We have a climax, which is the peak of the conflict or the challenge. We set up a conclusion. We wrap up loose ends and set up potential sequels. Each scene can have one or more encounters, which can be combat, social interaction, or exploration based. Ensure variety to keep player engagement high. You also can have an overarching plot summary and then an action, a setting, and an event that occurs within that setting. So, for example, a plot summary might look like, in the city of Luminaria, a powerful prism that ensures daylight is stolen, plunging the city into eternal darkness. The heroes are tasked with finding the thieves and restoring the prism to its rightful place before the city succumbs to chaos. So, a scene breakdown may be something like, we have an opening scene. This occurs at the Festival of Lights. It's in the main square of Luminaria during the annual Light Festival. Our main action are the citizens are celebrating, showcasing the importance of the light in the city, even the adventurers, and in the midst of the celebration, the prism disappears and the darkness engulfs the city. Then we have the council brings everyone to the grand hall to discuss what to do and the consequences of this eternal darkness, and the heroes are chosen or volunteer to retrieve the prism. Then, as during their investigation, they find clues in the dimly lit market streets. The heroes investigate, hearing rumors about suspicious individuals. They discover a thief's dropped note hinting at a meeting in the Whispering Woods. The heroes stealthily observe a group discussing the prism's location, and then an ambush. The group is expecting someone to follow the clue that they left, and a battle ensues. And then this takes us to the underground labyrinth, a hidden entrance at the base of Luminaria's cliff. This is about navigating traps, puzzles, and creatures in the dark, intricate maze. The heroes find a map pointing to the prism's location in the Citadel Without Light. This is an ancient dark fortress and a forgotten part of Luminaria, and confronting the mastermind, a mage wanting to control Luminaria by controlling its light. The event culminates in a climactic battle using light and shadows. The prism is restored and light returns. Then we have a triumphant return. Luminaria's main square is restored to its former brightness. Heroes are celebrated. The importance of unity and resilience emphasized. A ceremony in their honor, the Festival of Light, resumes. This breakdown provides a roadmap for the narrative's progression. Each scene advances the story, offers different challenges and character interactions, and builds up to the climax. Depending on the length and complexity desired, each scene could span one or multiple sessions in a tabletop role-playing game. NPCs breathe life into your world. They're the friends, foes, and gray characters the players will interact with. So these NPCs need personality and motivation. They should have clear desires and fears. This drives their actions and reactions. You can give them mannerisms that have distinct styles. Maybe the tavern keeper has a scar from a pirate encounter, or whatever details you want to add, but it brings these folks to life. Also, what is their role in the story? Is the NPC a guide, an antagonist, a bystander, or a potential ally, or something else? So, let's talk about some NPC examples. So, Lady Sepharina, she's a local noblewoman. She's tall, silver-haired, always adorned in sapphire embedded robes. She wants to find her missing son, secretly turned to dark magic in her desperation. She's influential, wealthy, skilled in diplomacy. She's blinded by her love for her son, trusts too easily. Or Rogar the Cunning, he's a thief turned informant. He's short, wiry, with a snake tattoo around his neck. He seeks redemption for past sins, but wants a hefty price for his services. He's an expert in stealth, has a vast network of underground contacts, but he's greedy, haunted by old rivals. Alondra, Keeper of the Woods, she's a guardian of an ancient forest. She's green-eyed, dresses in leaves and vines, carries a staff made of living wood. She protects her woods from encroaching civilization and those who would harm it. She commands nature, can communicate and commune with animals. But she's unfamiliar with human customs, too trusting of nature's spirits. Along with designing NPCs, designing locations for your campaign setting can be as vital as any character. Whether it's a bustling city or a haunted forest, locations set the mood. So let's do a few examples of those. The Crimson Abyss, a vast chasm glowing with an eerie red light, said to be the resting place of an ancient evil. Exploration teams disappearing, cultists trying to awaken the ancient evil, or a village nearby experiencing mysterious phenomenon. The Elysian Library, a multi-tiered library floating on clouds holding the world's knowledge. A tome with forbidden knowledge goes missing. The library starts descending due to a curse, or scholars transform into creatures from the myths they study. The Silent Hollow, a picturesque valley that silences all sounds, where shadows dance in the corner of one's eyes. A mute community living in harmony, a bard seeking to break the silence with the perfect tune, or dark spirits haunting the land, communicating through written signs. The Sunken City of Thaloria, an underwater city with majestic crystal palaces, now in ruins and homes to merfolk and sea creatures. A quest to retrieve a lost artifact, the resurgence of an old Sea King spirit demanding justice, or a diplomatic mission between surface dwellers and merfolk. Pairing these NPCs with dramatic and atmospheric locations provides a rich backdrop for unfolding stories, enhancing immersion and intrigue. Sensory details describe what players see, hear, smell, touch, and even taste. Every location should have a purpose, from harboring clues to hiding enemies. Let's talk about creatures and combatants. Combat is a key component of many RPGs. The foes your players face should be diverse and challenging. You want to ensure that combat encounters are somewhat balanced, not always. This doesn't mean easy, but they shouldn't be impossible either necessarily, unless you're trying to make the party run away. You want to mix up enemy types, abilities, and tactics. So use the environment to add layers to the combat. And you can think about this in a couple different ways. One of the things for some of these encounters to make them more dramatic and interesting is to make sure that you've got the enemies fully fleshed out. You know what kind of tactics they're using in this particular scenario. Maybe you add a ticking clock to what's going on so that there's something that happens. And you can also raise the stakes. So whatever's happening, you make it a little bit bigger and a little bit more intense, which adds to the dramatic tension. So you use the environment to add layers to combat. Maybe the bridge is collapsing. So a battling on a crumbling bridge might be an ancient stone bridge is spanning a deep fiery chasm, stone gargoyles that animate as the party attempts to cross. The gargoyles can dislodge bridge stones, forcing players to make dexterity checks or fall. The bridge is deteriorating rapidly, and in 5 rounds it will collapse entirely. And for raised stakes, an important NPC is trapped on the far end, and saving them becomes paramount. Using the ticking clock in combat encounters not only heightens the tension, but forces players to think strategically and weigh the risks of each decision that they make. Combined with varied environments and enemies, it ensures that each combat scenario feels fresh and engaging. While you'll have a main plot, subplots add depth to your campaign. They can be personal to a player's character backstory or related to the main plot. Story hooks are the breadcrumbs you leave to lead players to these plots. It can be a mysterious note, an overheard rumor, or a direct plea for help. Plot hooks are an integral part of any RPG adventure as they provide motivation for the player's characters to embark on the quest you've prepared. Here are several plot hooks tailored for various character backgrounds and motivations. The Forgotten Heritage. For characters with a mysterious or unknown past, an ornate sealed letter arrives for the character, embossed with a family crest they don't recognize. It hints at a forgotten lineage and a potential claim to a distant land or title. The Stolen Relic. For the devout artifact-seeking character, the local temple or museum reports a break-in. A sacred relic believed to possess healing properties has been stolen. The high priest believes only someone with the character's skills or faith can retrieve it. Bounty on a Friend. For characters with ties to criminal elements or old allies, a wanted poster catches the character's eye. The image on it is of an old ally or friend with claims of a crime they'd never expect them to commit. Is it a case of mistaken identity, or has their friend truly turned to dark deeds? Dreams of Another Realm. For the mystically inclined or those with a penchant for the unknown, the character starts having recurring vivid dreams of a place they've never been to, filled with calls for help and cryptic clues. Each morning they find a tangible item from the dream next to them. The Dying Land. For the nature-loving or druidic character, the forest and wildlife have started to inexplicably wither away. Animals are seen fleeing and ancient trees are dying overnight. Spirits of the land approach the character pleading for aid. Tournament of Champions. For the warrior or glory-seeking character, announcements circulate about a grand tournament being held in a distant city. The prize? Untold riches and a weapon of legendary power. Participants from all over the realm are heading there. Shadows over the City. For the stealthy roguelike character, a new thieves guild has emerged in the city, more ruthless and ambitious than any before. They've put a call out for members, but whispers suggest they're involved in darker plots than mere thievery. The Scholar's Plea. For the academic or knowledge-thirsty character, an old scholar approaches the character speaking of a lost library said to contain the world's knowledge. However, it's located in a place many consider cursed and is guarded by ancient traps. Echoes from the Underworld. For the character with ties to the afterlife or undead. Spirits have begun appearing, speaking of unrest in the underworld. The balance between life and death is threatened, and the character's unique skills or connections are needed. Market of the Bazaar. For the trader or wealth-seeking character, rumors spread of a hidden market that appears once every decade where items of immense power and value can be traded. However, this market doesn't just deal in gold. Memories, years of life, and talents are the preferred currency. Each of these hooks caters to different character backgrounds and motivations, ensuring players feel a personal connection and drive to engage with the unfolding story. Flexibility is key. While planning is essential, be prepared for players to take unexpected routes. Adaptability is a strength. Instead of forcing them back on track, consider how their choices can be incorporated into the story. Unexpected player decisions are a staple of tabletop role-playing games. Here's how a game master can adapt and remain flexible. The Quantum Ogre approach. Players decide to take a left path in the forest instead of the right one. You plan for them to encounter an ogre. Regardless of their choice, they still meet the ogre. The key events you plan happen regardless of the path the players choose. This method can be useful for keeping a tight narrative or ensuring critical story elements occur. However, it might limit player agency if overused. Yes and yes but. Players want to negotiate with the main villain instead of fighting. You can allow it, yes, and create consequences or stipulations. Yes, you can negotiate, but the villain demands a heavy price. Adopting an improvisational mindset, this approach keeps the story moving forward while validating player choices. Roll with it. Players decide to start a business instead of chasing the dragon terrorizing the town. Instead of redirecting them back to the dragon, the game shifts to managing the business, dealing with rival entrepreneurs, and maybe later on the consequences of ignoring the dragon. This approach fully embraces player decisions, often leading to sandbox-style campaigns. The world reacts. Players ignore the pleas of a village being raided by bandits. Later, they learn the village was destroyed, affecting reputation, resources, and alliances. Let the world evolve based on player actions. This adds weight to their decisions, making the world feel dynamic and responsible. Back pocket scenarios. You prepare a few generic encounters or plot points that can be inserted when players go off the planned path. Stumbling into a bandit ambush or finding a mysterious artifact can fit in many settings. These versatile scenarios can bridge the gap between player decisions and the main narrative. Redirect through NPCs. If players are straying too far, a trusted NPC can provide information or incentives that redirect them towards the main plot. I've heard rumors that the artifact you seek is located in the haunted ruins. Useful for gentle guidance without overtly railroading players. Time constraints. Players dawdle in a town instead of pursuing the evil cult. Introduce a ticking clock. The ritual will be completed in 3 days to add urgency. It can motivate players and add tension, but might feel forced if overused. The feedback loop. End sessions by asking players about their goals or intention for the next session. This provides insight into their plans, allowing you to prepare accordingly. This proactive approach helps the GM anticipate the party's next steps, aligning the story better with player choices. And some other general tips for flexibility: know your world, not just your story. If you understand the broader setting and its inhabitants, you can adapt when players venture off the beaten path. Avoid being overly attached. While you might have a great plot in mind, being too attached can lead to frustration when players deviate. Embrace their creativity. Use cliffhangers. If players make an entirely unexpected decision and you're unsure how to proceed, end the session on a cliffhanger. This gives you time to plan. Collaborate. Role-playing is a collaborative effort. Encourage players to flesh out the story with their ideas. In essence, flexibility in storytelling, especially in tabletop RPGs, is a balance between preparation and improvisation, anchored by a deep understanding of the game world and a willingness to let players shape the narrative. Crafting your own adventure is a challenging yet fulfilling aspect of tabletop RPGs. It's a chance to tell stories that resonate with your players, providing them with challenges, mysteries, and memorable moments. Remember, the goal is to ensure everyone is having fun, including you. So embrace the unexpected, celebrate creativity, and enjoy the shared storytelling experience. What are some methods you use to create adventures and campaigns? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this video on building your own adventures. I wanted to take this moment to thank all those who take time to comment on almost every video every week. I just want you to know I see you, and your contributions to the discussion are much appreciated. Again, thank you. If you found this video useful, please hit those like and subscribe buttons. It is much appreciated. Thanks to everyone for watching. See you next time.